Last week, it was 25-year-old left-hander John Gant as he rolled a 228 to unseat Tim Weisbrod, and he is our reigning king on BPA King of Bowling. Hello again, everyone. I'm Fred Kalil along with Dave Newrath, and we are at Northwest Bowl, where three of the top bowlers in the area will try to unseat Mr. Gant, and one of those is Tom Kasee in our first game.
Tom Kasee will show the people exactly how you should get to the line. Very smooth approach, excellent delivery, knee bend at the foul line. A classic bowler, Fred.
What about Mr. Jim Sparks? He will meet Tom Kasee in the first game, a 191 average, and he's been out of the tournament action at least for about 8 years.
Yeah, an injury several years ago took him out of the qualifying rounds, Fred, but he's back, he's bowling well, and we'll see how he does today.
What about Mr. Bill Heflin? He says, how many times have you been on the show? Oh, about 25 or so, so he's no stranger to this thing.
Bill's older than the game itself, Fred, and he's been around. His experience and his good humor. We're going to have a good show today.
Tom Kasee and Jim Sparks next on BPA King of Bowling against Jim Sparks. Jim averaging 191, Tom 202. And Jim will begin on the left lane.
Going a little high on that shot, Fred. He's been sticking just a little bit in warm-ups, and that's not because of anything with the lanes again, but Jim's getting up on his toe a little bit. The bowlers should try to glide into the line, and the absolute perfectionist of that is Mr. Kasee, and he'll be up in this next frame.
So Mr. Sparks covers his spare. And now up on the right lane will be Tom Kasee.
Really can't say enough nice things about Tom Kasee. He's a gentleman, he's a good bowler, and he exhibits probably a classic form and delivery.
He got it.
Yeah, love tap 10, Fred. Love tap 10. What we're going to see is the 6-pin, again, marvelous release. We're going to see the 6-pin, which is on the right of your screen, go to the gutter, fall, lean into the 10, taking it out. What we call the love tap 10 in the game.
So Tom Kasee with a strike in the first, now in the second frame on the left lane. Oh, it didn't go this time.
It was an excellent shot. Actually, it was a technically better thrown ball than last frame, Fred. The 6-pin in this case will go up and around the 10-pin rather than falling into it. See it go, well, it didn't even go up. It went just around. It was an excellently thrown shot. Actually touched the pin but didn't knock it down. Cross lane for the spare, and he missed it.
He missed it. Man.
Easily done. I was hoping to see Tom throw a few shadow balls across lane. You always want to get a feel for the lane going from right to left and left to right. And Tom Kasee did not throw any across lane.
Sparks now on the right lane. A little high that time, but he got them all to go down.
Oh, yeah. Jim watches the pins. He's very intense as he's concentrating on his mark, as you can see here. Low backswing. Knee bend is quite rigid, but some of that is due from Jim's back injury that he sustained a couple of years ago. A light mixer.
So he got one on lane 13, which hasn't been too lucky.
No, he got a good break there. Again, a little rigid at the foul line. Jim will do a lot of things that technically aren't correct, but it just goes to show, Fred, that you don't have to do everything by the book to bowl well in this game. You just go out and you have a good time.
Tom Kasee working on an open. Oh, he couldn't get the 5-pin.
No, the ball just did not finish at all, Freddie. He wasn't real pleased with that shot. He will probably come up off this shot a little early. No fingers. He went around the ball a little early there. The ball will deflect, leaving the 5-pin. The pin coming off the wall just wasn't strong enough to take it out. Very easy spare.
He covers it. A spare in the third frame for Tom Kasee. He only bowls once a week, it has down here, and he averages 202.
Tom's been a credible bowler down through the years in the greater Cincinnati area. If for no other reason, Fred, it's just his classic form The bowlers, if they want to emulate somebody that's on the show today, Tom Kasee would be the person you want to watch. Nice deep knee bend, good arm swing, nice slide at the release, and he does not overpower the ball.
Leaves the 10 pin.
And having a little trouble getting the ball to roll off. I was talking to bowlers earlier when they were practicing, Fred, and they were just having a little bit of trouble getting the ball to roll off. You can see there, perfect extension, perfect delivery, and hopefully makes a spare this time.
So Tom Kasee at least covering his marks. Now with 2 marks in a row, a spare in the 3rd and a spare in the 4th, and now working on a double is Jim Sparks on the right lane in the 4th frame.
Jim, as you see, doesn't take a whole lot of time. Just gets up there and throws.
Wrong side, but he got him to go down. He pulls the right strings, doesn't he?
Yes, he certainly did. He certainly did, Fred. He just takes a little bit of time, runs up there. You see there, he got on the side of the ball way too early, hung up in the ball a little bit, but he's going to cross over and carry a strike anyway.
As long as they go down, right?
That's right.
And no, won't get it that time.
Not quite getting the action he was looking for that time. I know yesterday during the qualifying, Fred and I bowled together, and Fred, your release is very unique.
Yeah, very unique. It's one of those just rare back and fire. I need to work on that.
Shooting cross lane for the spare.
And Jim Sparks got it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the proprietor yesterday told me he's going to send you a bill for the cracked pins that last week.
Well, at least it didn't touch the lane.
You got that right. So far in the match, we have Mr. Sparks leading by approximately 30 pins.
And now Tom Kasee, 30-year-old engineer from Cincinnati, will roll on the right lane.
Let's see if he can solve this right lane, Fred. And he did. Oh. Again, excellently thrown shot. The 5-pin just not quite having the action to get over and carry the 7-pin out, as we'll see here. Execution-wise, this ball is perfect. Throws the ball well. I think Tom likes it. Enters the pocket, but see the minor deflection there. Not quite getting enough of the 5-pin to throw it into the 7.
He covers his spare, so Tom Kasee has a 66 with a mark up in the 5th frame. He will now try lane number 13.
A 33-pin deficit in the 5th frame is definitely not insurmountable. However, Tom Kasee will have to find a way to make the ball roll off on the back end. What I mean by that is getting a little more hook, a little more carrying power, and start throwing some pins around, Fred, so he can make up those 33. Again, coming light, leaving the 2-4-8. 2-4-8 is not that easy of a spare to leave. You'll see this ball go wide, skates out a little early in the front part of the lane, and never does have that great hooking action on the back end that we like to see. He should try to hit this directly on the 2-pin, carrying through just like that.
He did it.
As we discussed last week, Fred, if you're not going to be striking, you've got to bring those spares back, and Tom's been doing that so far.
Back to live action with Jim Sparks as he buries him. Jim Sparks now is working on a pretty good game.
Yes, he certainly is. He's filled every frame. He has a triple in there. We're looking at 119 in the 5th.
And he's working on a strike, and
he could build the lead even higher yet. And this is a big shot right here. With another strike right here is really going to put the pressure on Tom Kasee.
He got it to go down.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Sparks.
Trip 4-pin off the wall, Fred. Excellent to see that. We're going to see Jim's low backswing extending through the ball very well this time, falling off the right a little bit. But watch this pin go to the wall, trip out the 4-pin on its way coming back.
He now has a double, and we're back to live action with Tom Kasee.
Much better shot.
There was no question about that one, Dave.
No question whatsoever. It was a much better shot. Tom used a little bit of a speed change there, Fred. We'll notice that we've got 119 in the fifth for Mr. Sparks, 83 for Tom Kasee, working on a strike. He needs to throw at least 2 or 3 more strikes at Jim to create him to possibly make a mistake. He definitely needs this strike. He gets it.
A double for Tom Kasee. And Jim Sparks also working on a double.
Tom has gone with a minor speed change to obtain a little more roll on the back end, Fred. And as you see here, very successfully taking out the pins.
Back to live action and Mr. Jim Sparks. Ooh, he hit that one head on.
Now we have a game.
But this one is within the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah, this one is definitely makeable. Jim will move to the left side of the lane, going across approximately the middle arrow, killing the ball, trying to hit the 6 pin on the extreme right side, sliding it across the lane into the 7 light.
Ooh,
general idea.
Right.
General idea. See, what I like to make a point, the double from Kasee created Jim to maybe make a mistake he normally wouldn't make. Now you're going to see that if he'd hit it a little lighter, it would have flown to the left just a little bit more and carried the 7 pin out of there. It was a good effort. Very good effort.
Ooh, 2 splits in a row. He's just been hitting him head on, though.
Now, all of a sudden,
we got a game.
You bet we've got a game now. At this particular point in time, Kasee has the hammer. Tom Kasee, with the strike in the 9th frame, can take the lead.
Another close call, but those are almost impossible to pick up, Dave.
Those are very difficult, and he did the proper thing by taking the 2 pins. As you see, we're looking at 184 for Sparks in the 9th, 103 for Kasee in the 6th with a double up. So pin count could be a factor here. Very, very big shot for Tom Kasee.
Looks good.
We have a potential 163 in the 8th frame, should he carry this next one. And with a spare and a strike there, we've got the new leader. We got a 10 frame game here, Fred.
First one of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Several of our matches have gone to the 10th frame. Kind of exciting shows so far. I'm really, really pleased with the level of competition that we've had. Not quite getting the break off the wall. A little adrenaline flowing there, Fred. He knows that with that strike he was going to put an extreme amount of pressure on his competitor. And we now have a 2-pin game, assuming he covers his spare. And he does.
A spare in the 10th frame for Tom Kasee.
We have 182 for Tom Kasee, 184 for Jim Sparks, both going into the 10th frame. Kasee already rolled his first ball in the 10th, so count is going to be of the essence. Tom Kasee needs a strike. He's going to be giving it all on this shot, Fred.
High, but he got them all to go down.
Excellently thrown shot. Tom's been around for quite a few years, and he knows the importance of the last ball. The fill ball just isn't a fill ball to get off the lane. In this case, he needs 10, and he puts 10 of them in the pit. Jim Sparks.
Wrong side, and Jim Sparks got another one of those.
Incredibly good break. Incredibly good break. Now the count becomes very, very important again. At this point, the only way that Tom Kasee could win if Jim Sparks would throw a wide open split, such as the Big 5, or something where he can only get 8 pins out. That's not the case. He buried it.
He buried all of them that time. A double for Jim Sparks, and he is our winner in the first game. There you see it. 2:04 with one left.
That's right. Jim got a couple of breaks along the way to defeat Tom Kasee, but bowled a creditable game, and we'll see if that same slightly unorthodox style in the next match will bring him another winner.
He strikes out in the 10th for a 214. You talk about Jim Sparks and the breaks. He also took his share of lumps, Dave, with splits
He sure
back
did.
to back in the 8th and 9th frame. But Jim Sparks is a winner over Tom Kasee, 214 to 202. We'll be back with our next match right after this.